Joining us now. Do you have a favorite football movie? We were talking about that earlier in the show. Is there one? I know you watch a lot of film. I didn't know if you watch a lot of films, football films. Do you have any? Oh, hang on. Are we on? Let's get him on. There we go.
Got me now. Yeah, I'd probably say Remember the Titans.
Yeah,
that's probably my favorite.
We all had that number 2 or number 1.
For a coach, that's very fitting.
Yeah.
For him to say that.
Yeah. The cool thing is that Coach Boone coached Larry Johnson.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, really cool. When you have had a chance to sit down and talk to Coach Johnson about Coach Boone, like, it's really cool. I mean, it's, obviously we all watched the movie, and so we were kind of invested in that, but to hear about how Coach Boone operated and during that time period, I mean, it's really powerful.
Oh, yeah. I can only imagine. That story is just so great, and it's such a good football movie. But you guys are about to write the story for this year, 2025. I enjoyed from a, if you were making a headline for the year, if you were trying to have, the movie quote, I heard you a couple weeks ago, maybe this has been a line throughout the spring of, we're not defending anything, the trophy's over there, we're attacking. That's all right, I'm ready for football season. It's a good mentality, though, because I understand that's what you guys have to think about is everyone's going to give you your best shot. But it's Ohio State. Isn't that already the case?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, we always have a bullseye on our chest, and we got to win every game. That's how it goes. But yeah, these guys, make no mistake about it, we want to be the first team ever to win back-to-back national championships. Of course, that's what we want. So last night we had our team meeting. We go through the goals, and one of the goals this year is to win the opener because of what a monster game the first one is. But that's important that we get after it this next month. There's guys who have played a lot of football here. There's some guys that haven't played a bunch of football. So this camp is going to be a little bit different. Has to be a little bit different. You'll see today when we practice. And, the plan will be we'll start probably on the grass fields. If it rains, we'll go here to the turf. But we'll be on 2 fields for some of the teamwork. And what we do is, we were able to get our roster up to 120 this year. Moving forward, it'll only be at 105, which will be harder to do this. But we try to get on 2 different fields and, have a 2 spot, which is what we call it. And we'll get 48 reps in about 15 minutes during the teamwork. And to me, it's important for these guys to get reps, to physically get on the field and have the reps. And, I think about the movie sometimes, Good Will Hunting, where, Matt Damon's talking to Robin Williams, and he's this really brilliant mind. He's really, really smart. But he's never done it. He's never lived life before, and so we can put things up on the screen, and we can talk about all these different things, and, the quarterback can tell you his read, but until he's physically done it before, it's not the same. So we got to get him out there, and we got to get these reps here in camp.
So when you looked at coming off of a national championship, obviously when you had a plan going in the spring, I would imagine it was we just got done. You don't really want to go that hard in spring. But then next thing we know, y'all are tackling. Quarterback's live. And I'm like, what is going on? So at what point did you realize, okay, we need to pivot this plan from maybe we have to amp it up instead of being relaxed?
Yeah, it's like that NFL films. The guy goes, what's going on out there?
Right.
Because it was a little crazy there for a second. We were making them lie. Coming off the spring, or coming into the spring, it was such a short window from the end of the season until spring. And to your point, you start to think about, how the NFL was modeled and, those types of things. But the truth is that, a good portion of our team didn't play the year before. They did. A lot of them practiced. Some of them didn't. And so we need to get these guys reps. And then the more you're watching practice, they didn't play the year before. They practiced a lot.
Yeah.
As you know, it's different. When you're tagging off on a guy or actually tackling a guy to the ground, it's a completely different feel. And so it was easy to identify early in practice, wait a minute, this isn't real football. We got to start tackling guys. The quarterback's got to feel it. If a guy's running through, you're not just going to be able to step aside. I mean, you're going to take that right in the mouth. And so we quickly got into that. So we tackled more this spring than we ever had. We did make the quarterbacks live twice. And so, we're going to have to identify what that looks like here this preseason because, in this first game, we got to do a great job of ball security. We got to do a great job of tackling. We got to play clean in the first game. So all those things will be, in consideration. The first 2 days, we're just in helmets, and then we're able to put the pads on day 3. So we'll be installing here in the first few days, but it's got to be physical, and guys, got to do a great job on a week-to-week basis taking care of their bodies because you can't miss practice.
Well, you got Coach Mick. He's very crazy about taking care of your body. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Mick to me is the foundation of the program. And what he does in the off season. It's all the things that matter in the end: the discipline, the accountability, the leadership, the competitiveness are all the things that we forge during the offseason and mix right behind all of that.
So you've got a quarterback battle on your hands, which I know we focus on that. I'm sure you're focused on all the positional battles. There's defensive end spots up for grabs. There's a safety spot. There's lots of places that you're watching on the field, but obviously as fans, a lot of people concerned about that quarterback spot. I know you've talked about how you have to have depth in that room, and everybody's going to play, which is always the hope, right, that you're going to have enough time for everyone to see the field. But I know some people read that as, like, are they going to have a platoon system? I didn't. But the goal is to have one guy emerge, right? And,
for sure.
And how soon do you think that happens, given what you've seen, what you know going into now these final practices?
Yeah, that's why we got to get them in these game-type situations and see how they respond. But, yeah, no, I mean, that's not the idea. Now, if there's a situation where nobody emerges, and you get put in that situation, we'll have to decide that going into the first game. But ideally, you want one guy going in the game. I've been part of situations where you have a starter, and then you have somebody come in and play a series, like to start the second quarter, things like that. When you're playing a game like this coming out of the gate, that's not ideal. But it's their responsibility to win the position. There was a situation we had Kyle McCord and Devin, and the truth was that Devin was ahead of him for about 3 or 4 days, and then all of a sudden Kyle clawed his way back, didn't quite win the job, and then sort of won it in the first quarter of the season, and it kind of went from there. Last year with Will Howard, the locker room knew that this was our starting quarterback, and typically and the locker room knows, and so it's their job to pull themselves away. But the cool thing this year is there's only 3 quarterbacks. Last year there was 5, and all those reps were getting spread pretty thin. And these guys are going to have a good body of work.
Yeah. When you look at, obviously, everybody knows about Jeremiah Smith, the Cardinal Tates, but y'all went into the transfer portal and got Max Klare. How much of an X factor has he been, or how has he looked in this offense over the spring, and what do you expect to see out of him this year?
I remember after the season, Lathan and Caleb had said that he was the guy that they had the hardest time covering, and that kind of caught our attention. And then as we went through the film, Keenan Bailey, kind of brought the film to me, and we went through it and we watched it, and we just saw a lot of special traits right there. And then, he comes in and really had a good summer. I think it took a little while for him to get into the culture of how we do things here, get into the speed of things, and he's done it. He's got a lot of athleticism, and I think he's got a lot of versatility. So it's going to be a weapon that's exciting. And I think the whole tight end room is something that, is in a position right now to make a major impact on the program.
Yeah.
I think Keenan's done a nice job there, and I think Max is going to be a big part of that.
Last thing I have for you, I need help with this guy. Tyvis has multiple times this year on a microphone said, one play, anybody in the country, Jeremiah Smith, whoever, put him up against old number 23 here.
That's right.
He's got him clamped down for one play.
That's it.
Then his Achilles blows, or I don't know what after that. But
no, we need to stretcher. That's all. I think we need to stretcher.
Can we talk some sense into him? I mean, Jeremiah Smith or anybody else.
One play.
It's one play.
One play.
But you're a former player. You know that feeling of like you want to get back out there for one play. I can't believe he feels this way. But I admire the confidence.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to go for him. I don't know if you've seen Jeremiah this year. He's bigger, faster, and stronger. But I would say for Tyvis, I mean that's what makes a great player. These guys, their mindset is different. His mindset, like in his mind, I think he actually believes it. You and I know that.
I know he believes
that
it,
ain't
yeah.
happening.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, as I was telling T-Bone, I will know the route because I'm playing press. I would know the route he's running off of his release, and I will play it, and it will be. I'm gonna get a PVU, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, come get me! I need to stretch you. Come bring it out here. I'm done."
I appreciate the confidence.
Yeah, right. Well, we've got 2 years hopefully left, Jeremiah Smith. So you got time. Maybe we can set that up before he gets.
I gotta, once the knees.
It's already stuff's hurting. Yeah. Ryan, we appreciate the time. Thanks. Good luck today and the rest of the season. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate it.
No problem.
T-Bone and Tyvis. We'll be back in 2 minutes. I don't know if Tom Brady knows he's divorced or not. We're going to talk about that next. T-Bone and Tyvis on the Fan.